Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday morning live group of Alcoholics Anonymous. My name is Sandy Beach, and I'm an alcoholic. How you all doing this morning? We'd like to start off by wishing everybody a Happy New Year, and I'm sure that if you canvass the Washington area of large groups of people, that this audience has fewer hangovers per 100 people than most audiences, so we're getting off to a good start. Those of you with a hangover, better check with your sponsor. If you're new to AA, why we want to extend a very special welcome here. We have this meeting every week, and we hope you'll come back. And this is an absolutely wonderful fellowship, and everybody in here really wants to get to know you. They know exactly how you feel if you're just starting in AA. All those feelings about being frightened and angry and I don't want to be here and this doesn't work and I'm not an alcoholic, whatever, all those feelings that are inside, if you can just put them off to the side and actually come to these meetings and let the people that you meet help you, you're going to find a whole new way of life that you never even dreamed of. This could be the best year you've ever had, bar none. So please, if you're new, stick around. It's customary to start our meetings with our preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for AA membership. We're self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. And for those of you that are new, you'll hear this read at just about every meeting you go to, and it's a wonderful little entrance to AA because it's just week after day after month it'll serve as a reminder of exactly what we're doing here this morning and about 250 other AA meetings every day in the Washington, D.C. area. So there's a lot of people doing what we're doing here this morning. And as we say, it won't take you too long to figure out what's going on. What happens is we're able to do something as a group that none of us would be able to do on our own. Somehow that's the miracle of AA. So you take a bunch of people who are out there trying to survive as alcoholics on their own and fail totally. We put them all together in one room and we get success. And that's what happens in AA. Somehow we have the power to help each other in the group stay sober. And when you become part of a group and the group succeeds, then you succeed right along with it. And it's one of the great miracles of this fellowship. Now, we got a couple of announcements to get out of the way. Charlie, you got the first one about this. Thanks, Charlie.
Yay.
If you haven't been here before, well, let me welcome you and point out that this meeting's a little bit different than most of our AA meetings in that it's run in a classroom setting. We have 4 or 5 of these in the Washington, D.C. area where somebody in AA who's got 5 or 10 years will come and you know ahead of time that they're going to talk the whole time on the steps. And I think all the other groups go through the steps 3 at a time each week and finish all 12 in a month. We did that for about 8 years, and then for variety, we shifted over to our present system of 1 step every week. New Year's Day, coincidentally, we're on step 1, so we're right at the very beginning of this whole program. And on Saturday morning, we go through them 1 at a time, so it takes 12 weeks to get through the 12 steps. Then we have 1 week on our traditions, which are very, very important, and then 2 weeks on the history of AA, and then we start all over again. So today is fun, just getting started into this thing. If there's anybody new to AA, why, maybe you'll find this particularly useful. And our first step, which we talk about in our program, simply says that we admitted that we're powerless over alcohol and our lives became unmanageable. And this is the doorway into Alcoholics Anonymous, is through that first step. But before I get to that first step, let me just make some general observations about AA and our steps to sort of start this thing out. Alcoholics Anonymous is now in probably 120 countries with 60 to 70,000 AA groups and 2 million miracles of sobriety, where hopeless alcoholics are now living very happy and productive lives. And so the reason for mentioning all this is that it works. It's not a theory. It's not, when you look at these 12 steps, you don't look at them and go, God, I wonder if this would be any good. You know what I mean? Which is how a lot of us read this stuff. Well, I don't know. That doesn't seem to apply to me. The point is, this has been working for a number of years. AA was started in 1935 with just 2 people, and we talked about that in our history, and now, in this relatively short period of time, there's hardly a town in this country that you will go to that there isn't an AA group. And around here, there's meetings morning, noon, night, midnight meetings, men's meetings, women's meetings, you name it. There's meetings just everywhere that you go, and society has pretty well accepted AA, and it's just a remarkable phenomenon. And so we have the meetings, and we have sponsors, and we have the literature, and we have conventions, and we have retreats, and we have all kinds of activities. But let me tell you something. The heart of Alcoholics Anonymous are the 12 steps. That's the deal. All the rest of it is just the atmosphere, the AA world that we're in that pushes us back to the 12 steps. If there's anything that happens in sobriety, you will find, if you've been around a while, is that we just go to meetings to keep reminding each other what the answer is. Because our own brains are out there during the week making up a new answer, which is how we used to be, and we found the world was too intimidating, and I better move to California, I better leave my family and go get a new one, I better quit this job, I better punch this cop in the nose, and I'm out of here. And those were all the old answers that we come up with, and our brains still think that way sometimes, and so we come here to constantly remind each other, no, this is the answer. In spite of what you think, this is what the answer is. And the answer is these 12 steps. And so when we think about them, if you're new, what do we mean when we say these 12 steps? Well, I like to think about them as a game plan for living. That's what it is. If you just joined some team, they would show you the game plan. This is how it works. And that's what these 12 steps are. And the main thing that happens when you try the 12 steps, one of the greatest, it's like jumping ahead, 15 miles all on the first step. The biggest thing that happens when you try the 12 steps is you stop doing it your way. And that causes an immediate reversal of direction for most of us, and all kinds of wonderful things to happen, because think about it. Most of us don't want to change. We come in here and we have our own plan. No, this is me. This is the real me, and this is how I live, and this is my style. This is how I operate. And you put it together, so it's yours. And our pride doesn't want us to let go of our game plan. When we come to AA, no one goes through the theory of your game plan, but they will be very abrupt about a few things. They'll look at you and they'll say, as I look at you, I draw the conclusion that your plan for living sucks. That's just sort of my inference as I look at you. Because let's face it, when you arrive here, you're not on a roll. There aren't too many people who come into AA on a roll. You know what I mean? Like, wow, my life is so good, I think I'll add AA to it. Put on my resume, and show that I'm a humanitarian. People come in here when their ass is on fire. And so you come in here, you're wearing a wristband. Family won't talk to you. Car won't run. Clothes don't fit. You have no friends. You can't stand your job. You're thinking of committing suicide or murder or both. And you want people to follow you. You know what I'm saying? You want to hear my ideas about how to live? No, I don't want to hear your ideas. The hell, I want to hear your ideas. So I could end up like you? So what I'm saying is, AA is very result-oriented. We don't discuss theory. We simply say, see these 12 steps? There's no theory to discuss here. We're going to tell you how they work and show you how to do them. We're not going to discuss, the logic behind them or prove them in any fashion. We're simply going to do this. We're going to say, now, your plan for living has produced you. So we got to abandon that plan. Okay? That's out. We got to get rid of that. Right? Wouldn't you agree with that? And then you've got to look in the mirror a couple more times and go, okay, now, what we're going to do, we're going to take you to AA meetings all over the place. And at AA meetings, we're going to have drunks stand up, and they're going to talk. And some of them are going to be tall, some are going to be short, they're going to be old, they're going to be men, they're going to be black, they're going to be white, they're going to be Orientals, they're going to be Hispanics, and they're going to get up and talk. And you're going to get to look at the results of the 12 steps. And then we're going to ask you to just do one thing. Go look in the mirror, look at the results of your plan, and then look at the results of what you see here, and make a decision. Which do you want? And that's what happens. And we have that in our chapter 5. If you want what we have, what we have is what you see at the meetings. You see people with happy sobriety, who seem confident, who are looking forward to every day, who talk in a way that is appealing to you, who have the sense of humor about life, and you just go, I like that. We don't get up here and go, I'm a big shot, I have this job, and I have this. Screw that. The big shots with jobs commit suicide, and they're alcoholics. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about how people feel on the inside. There's no resumes getting into AA. As a matter of fact, if you're new to AA, you're going to find we brag in the other direction. Before you come to AA, you talk about, well, I went to school here, and I am this, and I got money in the bank, and I'm very important. You come in here, and it's like, you were arrested 12 times? I was arrested 13 times. And my drinking took me way down, way further than your drinking took you. So in here, you find people exaggerating in the other direction. It's the strangest thing you've ever seen. Oh, no, I'm much worse than you. Because we notice at discussion meetings, the guys, well, I've been arrested 12 times. Everybody listens, it sounds like one of those stockbrokers, Well, my broker is Charlie B, and Charlie B says, oh, it's just the New Year's. We're going to settle down next week, I promise. So what we're saying